too.
Good stuff.
And
Hey, peeps.
good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever anybody is. Welcome. We have today Karen from Care Bear Bard of Cards. Sometimes I transpose that, but it's Karen Care Bear from Bard of Cards is joining Jackie and I today for our reading on Sebastian Rogers. And I know this young man has been in the news for quite some time. He actually went missing about a week before Riley Strandon, and it's both in the same area where Riley went missing in Nashville, Hendersonville, where Sebastian lived. I looked at the map and it's kind of like a northeast to Nashville, but not too far away. So this was all roughly, and on the same day too, he went missing. Was the same day that they Madeline Soto, went missing, and then the following day she was found um, deceased, unfortunately. So we have, let's just say really quick hello to some of our peeps in chat that were waiting for us. So we have Isadora. Hello, Isadora. Yeah, she's going yikes because I told her we're getting snow, probably for the moon, the solar. So we'll see. Hello, TD. Tarot Destiny is here. And we have Allison. Hey, girl. Hey. And we have Jay. Hi, Jay. Good morning. She's on the West Coast, so it's still good morning for her. And right now we got everybody caught up, and we have a total of 6, so we have a few lurkers. Welcome. So really just quick, a lot of you probably know a lot about Sebastian already. He's making all the major headlines. So Sebastian went missing February 26th. It was mom, night before. Mom, heard him making some noise in his room, said, hey, get to bed, get to sleep. You got school in the morning. She gets up to wake him up, and he's not there. And appears that his shoes are still in the house. There's a flashlight that's missing. So there's this, what did he go? They don't, so she immediately started driving around looking for him, calling for him, notify the police. An endangered child alert was issued, and by the next day, though, it turned out they ended up doing a Ambler alert at 3:25 p.m. the next day, and that's when investigation got involved and they started searching. And Sebastian lives in Sumner County, which is in Tennessee, Hendersonville, and they're referring to they've searched areas as far as the beach and Shackle Island, that whole area. They've been so far within the last month. They've covered at least 2,000 miles, and then they had to scale back. And Sebastian has high functioning autism. Hello, Dee. Good to see you, my dear. Um, and he's been missing now for over a month. So ground, canine, drones, everybody's been involved. Right now, the chief deputy, Craddock, says that there's no evidence of foul play, but they're not ruling anything out. Both parents and Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, have all been cooperative. They have the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations helping as well. And within a few days, glasses have been found, but they can't connect that yet with Sebastian. So tips are coming in. The United Cajun, this is what I found really interesting, though. The United Cajun Navy is a nonprofit organization that helps families find, missing loved ones. And they were actually in the area because they were helping to find Riley Strain. And they were contacted to help them find Sebastian. But apparently, and the police didn't want to, get too much into this. But the Cajun Navy ended up having to call off their volunteers after a few days. Apparently, they were getting allegedly some death threats. Why they would receive death threats for helping find a young boy with autism, I don't know. But they wanted everybody to stay safe, and so they removed themselves from the search for Sebastian. And that's pretty much, I try not to get too much into, so I didn't have too much influence with the cards. So let me set this aside. And just really quick, Sebastian's family. Sebastian's biological father is Seth Rogers. Um, Sebastian's mom, Katie, she remarried, and Sebastian has a stepfather, and his mother's name is Katie Proudfoot, and Sebastian's not biological stepfather, his name is Chris Proudfoot. So that's what I have with my information. And was there anything else, ladies, that you want to add to um, the case that you would feel would be important?
There were a couple of things like have y'all heard anything about, do they know anything about the glasses that they found? If they
Nope.
figured out, okay. And she said she heard a sound in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she, was like, hey, you okay? And supposedly, he's like, oh, it's nothing. And I think that was the last time she heard from him. And that was sometime, between 9 and 10. And then she figured out he was missing at like 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Then calls the
Yeah.
father first, or the stepfather, which honestly, that's probably something too I would do too, like right before I would call. And he supposedly said he called, directly and bypassed 911 and went to the sheriff and talked to the sheriffs to get a faster response. And there was this one thing I don't know, I was wanting to ask if y'all have heard of this at all, that supposedly the son, Sebastian, was going to go live with his dad in a couple of months, his real father.
Oh, wow.
I don't
Oh,
I don't
did not
know if
know
that's
that.
true or not. I didn't get enough time to really delve into that one, but it was just something that kind of would make me, you know, it seems like something to me that I would imagine maybe he would look forward to. I feel like they had a good relationship from what I could see, but it's really hard to know because I don't think any of us really know what his perspective was personally. He's just a 15-year-old. So, anyways, those were just some things that I had ran across just recently. I was curious about. So,
Okay, I'm going ahead and just stir in a few comments and to wait until we get through here. And Richie, Lawman Tarot. Wow, Richie,
Hey,
welcome,
Richie.
welcome.
hi, Richie.
So let me just get this here. Okay. All right, so we can address a few of these before we get it. But before we do, Jackie, was there anything that you wanted to share?
No, I don't think so. I think you've said more or less everything. I only watched I generally like to watch Christina Randall because she does seem, from what I gather, she does the most research on any of these things before she makes any videos, So I just
Yeah,
caught
she's
up
pretty
with
cool.
one of her videos this morning about him. But I think he more or less said everything, so
Okay.
I'm good.
So just so people know, during the live, we don't we used to welcome people pulling cards during the live and sharing in chat, but we found out later on that actually affected how we read and the energy that we get from our own cards. So we usually wait till we're done and then we open up the floor. But this is just information on the case, so I'm going to go ahead and share these insights. Allison said they're waiting for the DNA to prove that those were his glasses. Warrior Girl, hello, my dear. They said that the mattress was replaced the following day. I have not seen that. And one of the
No.
things too, I want to reiterate also that the Sheriff Craddock wanted to get out to the media and to people who are following this case is that there are a lot of media outlets that are going out and putting information on the internet stating that they're getting this from the investigation. And he says it's not true. And it's really making it difficult for them to follow through properly with tips and things because people are claiming this is true information and it's false information and it's kind of being put all over the internet. So it's possible. And Allison said, yes, the father has been given custodial rights beginning after school at the end of the school this year. Okay. And
Oh.
do they need the DNA from the specs? Do they need DNA from the specs if it's his prescription? Yeah, because he could have the same prescription maybe as somebody else. And so any sort of like skin cells, follicles, sweat, things like that, if they can find any traces of that on, then they can match it with this DNA. So, yes, thank you, Allison. Let's see. And I watched Chris's
Wow.
ex-wife tell her terror story with their daughter. Okay, so this was something that Karen had touched base with us backstage, that there are some um, personal conflicts that have gone on with Chris's previous wife before Katie, and I hadn't heard of that, and I hadn't looked into that. I don't know, Dee, but we're going to hold off now and just wait, so that we can. You heard a live interview, okay? So those were interviews. So we're going to hold off from questions, and or any information or hits any of my fellow readers get, and we're going to go ahead and start. Karen, now you had you threw a couple of Celtic crosses. Did you want to share one or both of those and let people know what the question was behind them?
Okay. And then I just was shuffling just now and doing one based off of like what happened to him, because really what I had done before was I wanted to understand and see what the cards had to say about his relationship with his mother and his stepfather. So with the dad, which my cards are kind of like out of sync right now. I'm using the Deviant Moon because I'm using it to pull my current thing. So I can't really hold up my cards right now for each one of these, or else we'd be here forever with me trying to shuffle through and find them. Okay, so with the dad, it was really strange. Like it started right off the bat with the Seven of Swords reversed. And
just really quick, when you say dad, stepdad or biological?
Stepdad. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna have to make sure I put that in. that is. Thank you for clarifying that. The stepfather. Yes. The Seven of Swords reversed. I feel like he's in with the relationship that trying to maybe turn over a new leaf, or kind of afraid that something's going to come out or be revealed about it. And that was the crossing energy for it was the Six of Swords. So that would be, trying to reach a better resolution between the two, trying to have some kind of peace. So, but then I got down to what the basis of this energy was, and trying to determine which way I wanted to look at the Seven of Swords reversed. At the bottom of it, I had the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords in the Deviant Moon Tarot is like this person like looking over their shoulder and they're going like, sticking their tongue out and everything. So obviously there's some type of, conflict, power plays, just maybe even some type of, not nice behavior that it's kind of based on, and not a pleasant card to get. So, but then in the recent past, I had the King of Cups, which was upright. So maybe he was trying to turn a new leaf. If you look at the energy moving from, the King of Cups, maybe trying to balance something out, with the Seven of Swords reverse coming over. But then, I looked above that for where he feels like things were going in the relationship. It's kind of the way I look at it, what you kind of expect to happen. And it was the moon reversed, which I always see it as something coming to light, which made me, I kept doing this flip around between the two. And then I saw that and I was like, oh gosh, okay. So maybe like the King of Cups is, trying, and this is all, just me trying to interpret the cards. I'm not, these aren't my, for entertainment purposes only.
Yep.
Yes, I'm not accusing anybody of anything,
Yeah.
But King of Cups, it can be a little manipulative at times, can be really good at hiding the whatever the ocean of emotions that are stirring inside of them. They can put on a good face well and hide that kind of energy which was coming through with that Five of Swords below. So I think there was this trying to balance, like, let's make everything, of course, like look like it's okay, and coming above, but something's, gonna break, something's gonna come out, maybe about this conflict below, whatever that was. And then going forward, this got really interesting. Is the Queen of Cups reversed came out in the sixth, for like the few, in the immediate future, which, we've got our King of Cups, which obviously I was looking at definitely as the stepfather, and then the Queen of Cups, I definitely see that as the mom. Queen of Cups reversed, being not quite there, emotionally, imbalanced, or it can have um, I mean, just it can be mental health issues, depression, all kinds of things. Or, also using, um, being selfish about her emotions with others. I don't know. It could be a variety of things, but it's not the balanced kind of Queen of Cups energy that you want in the reversal. So, but I thought it was really interesting to see them two come directly out in that. Then I came over and I had, okay, so sometimes I read this position. Sometimes I read it in the fears, and then I just do hopes in position 9 rather than like hopes and fears. And then sometimes, because that's like the new way I was told to learn it, but originally, it's like what they want to happen. So I was kind of reading this, going into it when I put the spread out, that I was going to try to keep clarified as much as possible. So I put that as my fears position, so I didn't have to wonder what was the hope or fear above. So with the Magician, a fear there is, I would say, what is going to be said, because I see the Magician about sometimes being communicated, and that there's some type of action that's taken. And I feel like there was something that would be said that would tie back to that moon reverse above, coming out is the kind of the way I was looking at it. And then in the environment, I got Judgment, which automatically I'm seeing that right now is that others around them were not looking at this whole thing in a good light, to be honest. Like, they were making their own conclusions. I guess the best thing I can come up with is, a judgmental type, attitude about it. And also sometimes I see that, like, I know I was asking about the relationship, but also the two, I could see that as like just being like the general public about the case right now, because a lot of people are really coming down on them without the evidence and everything. So there could be a lot of that pressure, that feeling of, like, and And then in the hopes position, 4 swords. I read this as he just like wants to for this to be put to rest, with some type of peace of mind. But then again, on that card image, there is a person like literally like in the ground. I don't want to go there. But the imagery was kind of like, I don't know. It was like I'll find it in a little bit and I'll show it to you. And then in my outcome for it was the 3 of Cups reversed, which obviously is a mess. And I kind of like saw that as like the 3 of them not getting along very well, and each kind of being in their own individual space and not working very well together, like not a good flow. And then so that's kind of how I saw with the stepdad. And with the mom, I had the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands, the card is it's this lady holding like a scythe, and she's cutting these tree or wands. They kind of look like bamboo shoots or something. And then the most interesting part is that there is a crow right over her head delivering a letter, and you can see like writing on the letter. So instantly I was kind of looking at that with their relationship, 8 of Wands. I see a lot of times it's like, just kind of going, like things can be going kind of quickly. And, with the letter overhead, I feel like there's like something that wasn't being communicated well with them. And this was just like an impression, like a feeling I was getting by looking at the imagery on the card. And then interestingly enough, I forgot to mention my bottom card for that first one. Like when I flipped over the deck, my shadow card was the World reversed, which is like repeating cycles, like a broken record. It's no success. There's something that is not going correctly, and you're just, having these repeated patterns, like maybe like, oh, we're gonna try to make it better, and then, it gets worse again. But interestingly enough, what my crossing energy was with the mother was the World reversed came out. And I'm like, oh goodness, okay. And then below, like the foundation of it is the Hermit. And this Hermit is not like a very nice looking hermit. It's like, like in a fetal position, like looks really scared. And I just get like there was a sense of, isolation, maybe not being understood. And the Page of Pence reverse came out in the recent past, and the Page of Pence reverse to me, could be maybe they saw it didn't quite understand him, or he felt like he wasn't understood. And there's kind of like rather than being like studious and everything, you might feel a little bit lost, a little, disconnected. I kind of got that feeling that maybe he, didn't feel like he was being seen in a very good light. And that I felt like that was kind of demotivating, perhaps.
Karen?
Then, yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, sweetheart, but Jackie has to leave in half
Oh,
an
sorry.
hour. Is it okay with you if
Yeah, go
if you
ahead.
you
Yeah.
just want to finish, give like a surmise of the energy of the cards, not just
Yeah. I'll go through these really quick. So Bubba had like the King of Wands reversed, which that's not, that's kind of what they expect, what they kind of expected. And then I had the 3 of Wands, which I see it like as a kind of like a waiting, a planning kind of, energy, kind of just seeing what's going to happen. And in the fears, I saw Justice, which I thought that was kind of strange with the CPS and all that kind of stuff going on from what I've read. 7 of Swords in the environment. So definitely there's something that's not right. And the hopes was the 10 of Cups, I think, for things to work out. But at the end, I feel like she, and I feel like this is the mom's energy, was the Nine of Wands reversed. And that's kind of like a feeling like, just kind of like giving up, maybe feeling overwhelmed, not, knowing how to handle the conflict in the other. And that's just kind of how I wanted to see. So I just wanted, to see what the cards had to say about, the relationships, to understand how he felt about them even. So that's, I don't know if that was helpful or not, but.
Well, thank you for sharing. So let's get Jackie in the hot seat and she can share her initial.
That Nine of Wands really makes sense, because what I watched of Christina Randall, when they were being interviewed by anyone, they were the most emotionless people I've ever seen in my life. So that Nine of Wands makes sense.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just pulled 6 cards just for kind of a pre-read. So I have 5 in a row, and then I have 1 on top, and the one on top is the kind of overall theme, and it's above card number 3. And every time I do this spread, and doesn't have any necessarily card positions, just the kind of theme one on top. The rest is kind of just a straight story, But the theme being on top always ties in exactly with the one underneath it. It's incredible. The first 2 cards I have the 6 of Pentacles and the 6 of Swords. Now, 6s, I heard someone saying recently, excuse me, I heard someone saying recently, in the tarot world, are about like all the images is one person handing or bending down, helping someone else. So they're all about one person helping another and kind of trying to gain a kind of equality within the relationship, so to speak. So 2 6s here, which would kind of say to me that on a mental and a physical level, there was kind of no balance within the relationship with them and the young fella. That's something was off. It would be as if they were reversed, that there was something not right, that he was kind of feeling like he had to kind of get away from the situation for whatever reason, and then I have the theme card on top, and then the middle card underneath just is amazing. Oh, hey, Nancy. Nancy's here. So I would see the 3 of Cups as the theme here, as the 3 of them trying to pretend like everything was normal. There was just a happy family situation going on. But underneath it, I have the 2 of Pentacles, and I would see this in this situation as like Sebastian looking in the mirror going, this isn't right. There's something kind of off kilter here, and I need to get the hell out of here with the 6 of Swords then previous to it, and then the last 2 cards, which are not good, 10 of Swords and the 5 of Swords. So the 10 of Swords obviously being Humpty Dumpty, having fallen off the wall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men not being able to put him back together again. And that 5 of Swords, just where he's feeling like he was being attacked by everyone. In this scenario, she had just said, oh, you're all a pack of cards, I don't have to listen to you, kind of a thing. And they all turned into actual cards and started hurling themselves at her. So it's like he was being hurled with abuse from all angles, kind of a thing. And the 10 of Swords obviously just doesn't show a good kind of a situation anyway. So that's just my initial 6 cards anyway on this seemingly very sad situation.
Yes, thank you, Jackie. For
No
me,
bother.
I'll do a quick so I did a quick Celtic cross, excuse me. So for subject situation, I got the 4 of Pentacles, and this feels very much like a male energy with holding things. And this could be very well have been Sebastian himself. But I want to see what the challenge or the cross was in 7 of Wands. So I felt like for me, because I was asking about him, so I'm feeling like he having to put boundaries, was trying to defend himself. He felt attacked. Underneath this card here, for the root of the problem, I got the 10 of Cups. So why would that be a root? That would be a problem. But for me, I feel like because this may have been with him and his possible his autism, and possibly getting along with the earthly power, the male in the family, or the people, or the energy of withholding support, possibly not necessarily with finance, but the lack of feeling like holding back support, security, and then feeling like they were trying to always be like at a, I have to defend myself, kind of like your cards all coming at once, and just trying to protect and defend. So for me, it feels like that could very well have been affecting, what was, the root of the problem. They wanted a happy house. They wanted everything to be happy and perfect. Things obviously weren't. In the past, I did get the Seven of Swords. Felt like something, especially mentally, things feeling stolen, taken advantage of, trickery, like a falsehood in a way. In the present moment, the present card I got, I didn't like that card at all. I got the Death card, and I'll just leave it at that. Um, so going into the near future, I got the Six of Pentacles. So possibly this is people, possibly, I know that they did establish a tip line, and there is also a reward for information. So this could very well be information coming in. This could be maybe money being handed out for tips or information, but people all over are coming to try to help. Um, the father, this biological father, and the law enforcement in finding Sebastian under, the situation. And I don't do reversals, but if a reversal comes out, then I pay attention to it. And it's interesting. I got the Two of Cups, and this was in reverse. So I feel like possibly, and again, for entertainment purposes only, this is just me looking at my cards and making trying to put my connections with them. But it just kind of feels like perhaps because I know people have had children with autism, even high functioning autism, and it can be difficult. They're very special, beautiful children that need a lot of attention, a lot of care, a lot of patience and understanding with them. And they're very bright. Sebastian was extremely intelligent. And it just may very well be, I've seen outbursts, so there may have been something where um, those involved, the energies might have been affecting the relationship between the biological mother and the stepdad. Um, I asked for a clarify. Well, no, actually, no. This is the clarifier for a different card. So under hope, I asked for a hope card, and I don't know why I got hope, but I got the Nine of Swords. So maybe this represents that there was no hope. There was just a lot of despair, cruelty, just a lot of pain. It's just like waking up in the middle of the night. How do I do this? And it also makes me feel like because he went missing at night. And I don't know, boy or girl, if the bed thing is correct, but there's a person sitting on the bed. They're crying, they're tears, they're in despair. For the fears card, it was reversed. I got the Three of Pentacles. So why this would be a fear, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe people working together to find out what happened to Sebastian, whoever might be responsible for Sebastian's disappearance. If it does happen to be foul play, this could be, the fear that people working together will find out. I did. Was this the one I asked for a clarifier actually for that card, and I got the Judgment. So somebody's afraid of being judged when the information comes out, when people working together, and when the picture is going to be clear about what happened, what had been going on. There's that sense of judgment, and also for me too, that spiritual awakening. This could be something that might help relieve a lot of pain, a lot of stress off of certain people who may be in the knowing that can't share that information. But I did ask for the outcome, and I did get the Sun card. And so either they are going to find him, and I do pray that Sebastian is still with us, that because of him being very intelligent, even though he went without shoes on, and just a sweatshirt, and I think in pants with a flashlight, he may be smart, have the smarts to be able to figure out how to take care of himself. But the Sun card comes out, the truth will come out. And I asked for an overall energy with everything with Sebastian, what happened. And I didn't like the card that I got. I got the Devil. And I'll end it at there. So let me just get this together. I will, let's see. Well, we're going to just hold off on that, TD. I'm just going to start. And then when we have the time, we're going to go back at the end. Okay, I'm just going to make stars so I don't miss any of these as we're going. All righty. So let me get myself out of the big seat here. And we have a list of questions that Jackie has provided for us with disappearance, a person who's missing. And it's 12:35, so let's see what we can get this out of here. And so for the first question, let's see. So I think, ladies, we are basically right on the energy of the missing person about what's going on. Would you agree? We can go ahead and skip that question. Okay. So, and I think, well, let's just pull a card or a couple cards for the emotional and mental state of Sebastian at the time of his disappearance. And thank you again, everybody, for joining us. I see someone saying hi to Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Thank you for joining us. So what is, I'm gonna mute myself.
Hey, Rain.
Hey, girl, let me put you up on the screen. There you go.
So, what was the emotional and mental state of Sebastian at the time of his disappearance? Seven of Cups and the Hermit. If that's not telling, then I don't know what is. He was totally confused and not knowing what was going on, not knowing, you know, who he was, where he wanted to be, what he wanted to do, anything, and went into hermit mode. Like, I wonder now. I know, like they said, he had a great relationship with the father, his real father, obviously. And I know someone said at the start that he was due to be going to stay with him. So, like, I don't know. I mean, this is just a kind of a entertainment purposes only, blah blah blah. But I wonder, has he just taken off to go to the father? You know. Oh, bye, TD. Thanks for
Thanks
coming.
for popping in. Yep.
So yeah, this is just the emotional and mental state of him anyway at the time of his disappearance, which just shows him very confused. Can you see them properly? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Showing him very confused, kind of head in the clouds, all a tizzy, which with someone with autism would they get like that anyway. You know, like I take 2 other kids to school every day and back, and they have autism and Asperger's and things like that, and they do sometimes get very confused and then just kind of start bawling, crying for no reason, and you know, that kind of thing. So when things kind of stress them out too much or whatever. So yeah, this is just that says a lot, I think, anyway, about the state of his mind when he supposedly went missing, shall we say.
All right, thank you, Jackie.
No bother.
And what card did you get, my dear? What cards?
These 2 came out. The High Priestess and the 4 of Swords, which, you know, that card came out in my Celtic, and a lot of my cards came out in y'all's readings too. I thought that was interesting. You know, I know I can like sit here and read the root meanings of it itself, but I just can't help but like see the imagery itself. That High Priestess with her arms crossed and just sitting there, and then him in his bed. I feel like it's like that at night, you know, like in their house right there. Is like she's, you know, sitting there kind of like being quiet, and he is too, just kind of, you know, resting there or wanting that kind of peace, perhaps, because that was in my hopes position before, just some type of rest. But I think he was feeling kind of, you know, alone and needing to be left alone, perhaps.
Yeah. Thank you, my dear. And coming over, I pulled, and again, I don't do reversals, but 2 reversals came out, and I'm going to keep them. Again, I got the 7 of Wands. This time, like you, Karen, I got it in reverse. So for me, surprise attack, not ready, poor weak defense, defending the indefensible. So for me, that says a lot. Defending the indefensible. Feeling like, again, like I got with the other one, it was crossing, the person who's holding the, those four pentacles. I sometimes wonder if that actually didn't represent a parent, but represented him trying to hold things together while feeling like they were being attacked. And the other card I got came out reversed too, is the Ace of Swords reversed. And on the card, poor or negative communication. And this can happen. It is a bad idea, being over analyzing. So his state of mind is this here unclear, over analyzing, kind of like with the Seven of Cups, over analyzing, trying to figure out where do I go, what do I do, how do I handle this. So at the time of the disappearance, he wasn't in a good place, most definitely.
I think our cards just said the same thing in 3 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
They really did.
Pretty cool.
That happens every week. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I thought about too, the High Priestess, like sometimes that can be like some type of secret too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Like he knew something that he didn't feel maybe he could share, or he was afraid to share. He had that inner wisdom, or people, having an idea what was going on. So do we want to ask, did the person leave on their own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Could do.
Okay, so did Sebastian leave on his own?
I asked that one earlier. I gotta find the card that flew out earlier. For entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but yeah,
I
got. I got that's what I got. So obviously, I would say that that's a no for me. I don't.
Wow.
Some type of conflict, obviously, in this card, and it's at night, even, and that card's usually during the day. So I have no idea, but yeah.
And Miss Jackie?
I have my baby steps card, as I call it, the Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is about moving forward with help from someone else. And the Knight of Pentacles being the slowest moving suit, someone who plans out everything well. These would suggest to me that it had been planned out, that he had someone who wanted to get him out of there and helped him,
Yeah.
That's just what I'm getting from these, anyway, which would tie in with something I said earlier anyway, So yeah, that's me.
Okay. Yeah. And for me, I got the Two of Pentacles. Things were being juggled around, trying to figure out how to do this, basically a balancing act. Responsibilities, finances. So it feels like, whoever this person was, I feel that there was somebody, and this person was trying to juggle finances, again, like the Six of Pentacles. In another reading I had gotten the Five of Pentacles. So there was a concern about finances, security, and this is something I'm just going to share really quick, is that with Sebastian having autism, he may have well been getting monthly checks for assistance from, like a disability or something. I'm not sure. This is just something that came into my mind. And sometimes too, if a person were to, let's say Sebastian's dad were to, take full custody, that could be possibly a loss of extra income coming into the household as well. And already we're having, according to this card, there was, a struggle, a balance between responsibilities, financial, financial, personal finances, trying to keep people happy, keeping everything all in balance. It was a struggle. So I believe that there is, and I do believe there is, that was someone, that, was a part of his disappearance, I got the Fool card, which means he might have been lured out. come on, look what I have, and being young and not being, he was young and he was smart, but still I feel like there was something where pure naivety. It was spontaneous, just kind of like, come on, let's go, and trusting or believing maybe and going with that. So usually I do a fuller spread on these, but that's what I'm getting. I just kind of feel like he was lured out by somebody who was just kind of tired of having to balance and juggle finances and responsibilities and whatnot in the household. So I'll just, those
Yeah.
are my cards.
Because I'm thinking like too that five of wands, can be like a mental, a struggle within yourself or competing interests even, it doesn't have to literally be like a physical fight, but feeling pulled in different directions.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we want to ask what happened, what occurred the day of his disappearance, or do you think we already covered that?
Yeah. No,
You
I
want to
think
do
we could
that
do
one?
that. Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
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 So,
So what was going on the day of the disappearance?
yeah, what's going on the day of Sebastian's? Because they said it was
Okay.
supposed to be a fun day and whatnot. And
Yeah.
so I would just like to see, the day or even maybe just before he went, disappearing that day. What was, what was going on? What was the energy? Oh, this is interesting.
Oh wow. Oh god.
I don't like the sound of that.
I'm not even going to pull another card. The devil. So yeah, I would suggest that things weren't so good after all. And again, we've three figures in it, so with the parents and the uncle, and so who knows? I mean, I know they said they were having a nice day, but sure, that doesn't mean anything. That's just yeah, that's enough really.
All right. What'd you get, Karen?
Okay. I just pulled like a three card. Started off with the star reversed, which is the opposite of wishes being fulfilled for the day. Usually
Hmm.
like a depressive, loss of hope, faith kind of state, followed by the seven of, hold up, eight of cups. Wow. Okay. I don't know why I wanted to think that was the seven for a minute. So obviously not being emotionally pleased and wanting to walk away from what no longer serves you. There's a tongue twister. And to finish it up, the Knight of Cups reversed. Lots of cups, Knight of Cups reversed. I feel like this is just reiterates the emotional disappointment there and wanting to walk away from that and go a different direction, perhaps, because some lack of happiness there. There was one thing did y'all see like his snake, like he had snakes or whatever,
Yeah, I
and
keep seeing that picture. I'm
made
like,
to sell them. He was made to sell them, and like there was the person was like, well, why don't you just keep your favorite? And they were like, no. And I think, yeah, I mean, something like that, when you, like in being high functionally autistic, very brilliant, but these emotional things can be harder to understand. So something like that could be even more detrimental. Maybe those were like, his
Yeah.
friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
okay.
I meant
Right.
to mention that earlier. Sorry.
Okay.
Must have
Thank you,
been very
Kim.
stressful for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me. I'd be like, get them things out of the house. But sorry, Sebastian.
That would be me.
But what I got, again, like a lot of us are getting, I got the Four Swords just prior. He was tired. He wanted rest. I also did get the Three of Cups. So it was supposed to be maybe he did have a good day. I'm not sure, but that Four of Swords all about clearing your head, recovery period, mental preparation. So without pulling more, let me just see what the next card would have been. King of Cups. Um,
Wow.
so something to do with a father figure, celebration.
Mm.
So yeah, I would have to pull. I think I'd do a larger spread for that one. But the Four of Swords for me, it was just like he was exhausted. He was tired, mentally. He might have just been put through too much. That day, and too much celebration, too much. Maybe it was very overwhelming for him. Could very well have been.
Yeah.
So, hello, Viviani. Welcome, my dear. Good to see you. So let's see, what time is it? 12:51. I'm looking at for another question that we could focus on. Let's see. I'm looking at these, Jackie. Did you want to pull cards on it? Because does person, with the question, does person have known enemies, or the threats or recent conflicts? Do you think we already kind of pulled, tapped into that, or do you want to do a separate pull for?
I suppose that one for today that we just did would kind of
Yeah.
suggest recent conflict, kind of, wouldn't it? So yeah.
So let's see. Does anyone, other suspects or persons of interest? This is an interesting one. What do you ladies think? Did Sebastian leave behind any evidence that could help locate them? Because people may not know coming in or earlier that because of Sebastian's stepdad's job, he had to leave town, and the mother didn't want to not be with him, and so she left the house. And so a lot of people are like, but maybe you should have stayed at the house, because what if he came back home? So, to me, but do we want to pull on if Sebastian left any evidence behind that could help locate him?
Okay.
And that could be our last. Then I can share, because TD had to leave, Tarot Destiny, and she was sharing something about a family member who has autism that I want to
Did
share.
Sebastian leave any evidence behind? Right.
Yes. That's interesting. I think so.
Ooh. Cards are wanting to talk. All right.
There we go. I'm going to go really quick here. I got... Or Jackie, do you want to go?
No, go on, your grand.
Oh, okay. So the first card I pulled was the Four of Wands, which is foundation celebrations. For me, this feels very like, here's home. So I feel like there is something at home. At the bottom of the deck, I got the Nine of Pentacles. And so again, life of comfort, leisure. This is your home. This is where you live. This is where, but what caught with me on that card is it had to do with finances. This is financial independence. So I don't know if there's going to be something financial that they're going to maybe later find there as evidence. But I wanted to clarify really quick on the Four of Wands, and I'm glad I did, because it goes with the Nine of Pentacles, I believe. I got the Five of Pentacles again. So there's something to do with finances, something to do with security. Something is going to be at that house that's going to give them an idea of where he is. It could be something possibly that was paid for. For me, it's feeling almost kind of like I'm getting like the word money trail or paper trail, something like that. And I will leave it at that, and I'll give it over to Jackie.
You know me, I normally pick the top card and the bottom card, and the top card is the Knight of Swords, which would suggest that he left so quickly. Obviously, if you leave quicker, then there is the possibility of something being left behind. So I would read this as a yes. And the underneath card is yet again the devil.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and 9 of Swords. Oh yeah, there's nothing really good. 6 of Swords again. Yeah.
6 of Swords. Yep. 5 of Pentacles again. I was looking at what I just shuffled. Yeah. So
You know?
yeah, something to do with finances and
So
moving
yeah,
on, moving
it
forward.
just seems like it was such a like I said, because it was such a quick getaway that obviously you could. And again, it's swords, it's communication. So if you're kind of planning something quickly and moving quickly, you're not going to thought it through properly, and that's when you could leave something behind and make mistakes and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I
Hey,
get
Jeff.
from those anyway.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Jeff and Michelle, and goodbye because I have to go now, lads.
Michelle.
Okay.
Oh, Ms. Michelle. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
And we have Karen.
So talking
One by
about
one,
making a
lads.
quick bye, Jackie. Thank
Bye.
you.
Back
Let me
later.
join y'all.
Thanks,
Bye.
Karen. Thanks,
Yes,
Heather. No
thank
bother.
you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone in chat.
Bye.
Bye.
So Heather, like talking about, kind of like a quick, impulsive type getaway. I had this Knight of Wands, like,
Wow.
yeah, the knight, on the back of a cockroach. These cards are so dramatic. Oh, it kind of looks like almost like a dragonfly or something on it. I don't know what that is. But
Disguising
anyway,
himself. Yeah.
yeah. Wow, that's even better what you just said. Because then, how you had the Four of Wands, like I had the Six of Cups. So that to me is like something home, it links back to home, some type of memory, maybe something gonna come out, maybe that he, is hidden somewhere. And then of course I get the High Priestess, and I'm like, really? Yeah, there's something. There's something. And it's just a matter of time. And the High Priestess, she keeps secrets and she reveals secrets too. So I feel like there's something major coming around the corner that is gonna shed some light for sure. So that's the way I see that.
Yeah, I keep pulling cards, and I keep doing what? 9 of Swords, Chariot, get me
Yeah.
out of here, and again, the 7 of Wands. We keep getting
I
that.
pulled that card last night. I just did like a quick kind of thing. I was like, where's Sebastian?
Pentacles. Oh, and this is interesting.
Yeah. And I had the Seven of Wands.
So people might need to start looking at this case maybe from a different perspective.
Yeah. I've got this Oracle deck called The Blind Spot by Teal Swan. And I asked
Teal Swan. Wow.
Yeah,
She has a deck. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't watched her in forever, but I definitely know who Teal Swan is.
Yeah.
Talk about going through hell and back.
These are kind of like really cool. They're like all different talismans and stuff. And so you don't really know until you get in the book what it is. And what I had asked was, what are the police not seeing? What is their blind spot right now? And basically what I got was that they're needing, like you said with the Hangman, they're needing to look outside of their comfort zone right now, which I know they've swept Tennessee pretty much, but
new direction.
Yeah. So I got that, and then I looked at the bottom of the deck, and it had let's see which one. I think it was like number 43. These probably won't mean much to you. I mean, they're her talismans that she drew anyways, but it's really, the guidebook is amazing. And what they're needing to do right now is assuming there's something being assumed, and they're needing to look, it like totally just repeated the whole thing in another way. Like there's something that perhaps they're not wanting to see, or don't feel comfortable seeing, or they just need to like scrap it and start. I mean, it's been a month. I'm really worried about this kid.
Yeah, and he went out
yeah.
with, and the weather's been cold. He's got, no
He supposedly had no
shoes.
shoes. Yeah. That one I keep thinking about.
They said they've been asking people to check, and if you're afraid to check in a well, or if you're afraid to check in an area where someone could climb into, call the police and say, "Come take a look. I'm afraid to look in there."
Right.
And what a lot of people too is that, hi Marby, is that Sebastian's favorite song is "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor, and so some of the volunteers kind of play that song as they've been looking for him, hoping that maybe that would make him feel less afraid to come out and feel comfortable if they hear his favorite song being played. And you mentioned earlier, as we were starting and backstage, that the stepdad, Chris, had a previous relationship.
Yeah, I think he had a few of them. Yeah.
That didn't quite go so well. Do you want to pull cards and just ask if any of those past relationships, especially with some of the trauma that was involved, and this isn't hearsay, it's not alleged, it's actually it's factual that these people from his past have come forward. Do you want to see if well, no, you know what? I don't think that would. I was going to say, do you want to see if any of those past relationships would play into Sebastian's disappearance? How would you feel about throwing cards on that? I just feel like I need to. Or I feel like I'm drawn to. Is that all right with you?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let me put these cards back. So, and again, this is just, us looking at some tarot cards. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We're just looking at this like you would a case. So do any of Sebastian's stepdad Chris's relationships play any involved? There's that card again, and I just put that card back into my pile. Okay.
Spooky.
It wanted to come out. Bye, Warrior Girl. Thank you, my dear. Oh. Sebastian's mom is his 5th wife. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to say that for sure because I thought it was. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead really quick and just show
go ahead.
cards that I got. So this came flying out again, and for me, when I do yes or no's, this is a definite yes card. I got the 6 of Wands. So in the past, and wait a minute, did you say this is his? Oh, I was going to say, if that said that was his 6th wife, then I got the 6 of Wands. But no, it says here clear progress though. It's recognition. But I also did get the 10 of Wands, which is burdens, heaviness, especially for the women involved. I also got the 2 of Swords, mental conflicts, stalemates. I like looking, in case people watch, I have different decks and I know my cards, but sometimes I like pulling out the ones with the additional keywords because sometimes they'll use different phrases that I may not think of, with one that don't. And it says here a lot of burdens, mental conflicts, choices that had to be made. For me, that's a very strong yes card. And at the bottom of the deck was the Sun. So the Sun could very well be like the overall energy too, kind of like, and I got this before. And the other one, when people start looking into a lot of this, I think a lot of things, especially maybe from his past, is going to shine light onto Sebastian's case. So I'm going to give you over to Karen. There is a new search going on today. I heard that, Michelle. Yeah. So hopefully.
Sorry, Sorry, Heather. I'm
Okay.
having I'm having difficulties. Hold on. I might have to like sign back off and sign back on. I can't figure out, I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Oh, I can hear you.
I'm gonna sign back on.
Okay. So this is going to be our last question. So, while Karen is coming back on, I want to make sure Tarot TD got her. But yeah, I think so too. I know a lot of children with challenges, even adults growing up, we feel that we have a lot of challenges that go on. We don't feel like that we're understood. Um, can you hear me?
Now I can. My
Okay.
the pediatrician called
Oh, and it knocked you
and
off.
it knocked me off, and I didn't know what else to
Okay.
do but sign back on. So
And TD also shared that her nephew has Asperger's and that they worked a lot with his younger years. So yeah, okay. When you were gone, I was just sharing some of TD's comments about. Um, I can't hear you now. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Nope. Hmm. That has happened to me. So while she's figuring that out, Isadora has left, but she was talking about a savant knowledge in certain areas. So yeah. But yeah, TD. I just hope TD didn't think that I was dismissive. I was just having to. I can
can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yep.
You can? Okay.
Yes. She's
Oh,
back.
okay. Technology, right?
Yeah.
Mercury
What's it for you?
retrograde. Woo! Okay. Yeah. Oh, wait. I reversed them. So yeah, I had the King Cup. So yeah, that's a yeah on that. The question. And then, I just pulled like something just to get a little bit more energy behind it. And this was kind of weird. Um, the Ten of Swords reversed wanted to come out. So obviously there's been a lot of endings that have yeah, some not so great endings, and recovering a lot and bouncing back to life to the next and giving the next cup is the way I kind of see it. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Just
I
hang
don't
on a
know.
second where I go, no, we didn't. So I went ahead and just pulled my Lenormands really quick. Because I know they want, I need to, they wanted me to use them today. I did get the tree card, which represents not just home here, but health. So for me, this is very much about ancestry, family tree, health, being rooted. But the next card I got is the scythe. And it's kind of like, almost like the Grim Reaper standing there. Something's about to be cut um, from the individual. Something needs to be removed. Something needs to be cut away. In the middle, I got the child card. So this is the child that would represent Sebastian. Now, I'm wondering if he might be found somewhere near a park. This is the park card, a place that maybe he felt safe playing. And at the end, that was my final card, which is the coffin, which is the death card. Not saying that he is, but this is what I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. But what really stood out to me was, kind of from the home, things being cut, being removed, the child, and then the park and the coffin. So,
When you said scythe, I found my that Eight of Wands card that I was wanting to show earlier that
she's got
showed
a,
up with the mom. Yeah, that had that
yeah,
scythe, and see that letter above and everything, like news. Yeah, it's kind of like it just really was an interesting image to start out the bat, and I'm like, okay,
for me, that's a very disturbing deck. I know a lot
it
of people
really
like to
is.
use
It
that for
is.
politics.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like a perfect deck for politicians, definitely.
I don't really
Um,
pull this one out, often, except like when I'm wanting to see things that,
yeah,
aren't
that's a
as
perfect deck
pretty.
for a crime investigation. Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah,
It
it gets
emotes
to it.
differently. Yes.
So before we go, and people are coming in. Jackie had to leave; she had an appointment, so she took off, and it's just Karen and I finishing up
hmm
here. It says here, Warrior Girl said that did they cover the fact that mom and stepdad didn't attend the candlelight vigil and not out searching? Well, I didn't know about the candlelight. I don't watch too
Didn't know
much,
the
but I
candlelight.
didn't know that. But I know
Mm-mm.
that the stepdad has a job to do. He had to leave town. But I also did see a article, and again, the sheriff's deputy or head investigation, Mr. Is it Caddock? Murdoch? No, wait a minute. It's a Caddock, right? No, Craddock. Chief Deputy Craddock says that there have been a lot of misinformation being put on the internet, and people
hmm
are claiming that they're getting it from the police investigation themselves, and he says it's not true. So please be very wary about, you know, what you put out there because it makes it more difficult for the law enforcement to do the investigations. Um, but this is true, and the reason apparently that the father is not out, the stepdad is not out searching because he's got work that was out of state. I don't know if he's out of state or if he's just out of town.
I think it
And
was at
the mother
Memphis.
decided to go with him. But I also did see an article. Again, this article could be alleged. It may not be necessarily fact. But because of since Sebastian's disappearance, and possibly because of them not attending or not wanting to speak to the press right away, um, people were already accusing the mother and stepdad. And this is where in society we have got to be really careful. Like
hmm
with us, we state before our readings that this is alleged. This is just us looking at the case with cards, like the police would with you know investigating. People need to make sure that because nowadays one person might say something and then it becomes like a mob effect, you know and we don't want that to happen. But according to this one article, they said they also may have left town because they were having people driving by their home. They were getting harassed, bullied, I believe. So
Cajun Navy had to stop because they were getting threats from people, and in the South too. Like I could imagine some of these properties too that, they're just searching on. There's people who are not that cooperative,
yeah
just like stay away kind of
so,
stuff. Yeah.
so
But
there may be
yeah,
multiple factors why they didn't participate, but for a vigil, that I have a hard time understanding why you wouldn't be there for that.
that was
unless
hard for
unless
me to
they didn't feel
understand.
safe because people are already pointing fingers. I don't know if I would necessarily, but if it's my son, at least I would be there. But again, that's
True.
just me. Allison said Katie and Chris are now in Memphis, Tennessee, 233 miles away from their home. Wow. So yes, flowing. Sebastian, may this light find your way home. Let's
Yes.
see where I go. During an interview, he claimed he didn't know if he had a job anymore. Then 10 minutes later, said they left town so he could return to work. There are currently 40 missing kids in that state over the last few years.
Wow.
And unfortunately, a lot of those kids are possibly even being trafficked. I'm not saying that's what happened to Sebastian, but across this whole country, people don't realize more children are kidnapped or hurt, and put into trafficking and all sorts than any other it more than
hmm
any other statistic. I mean, what people do to children, it's
At this point,
unfortunate.
anything's possible. I mean, we
Hmm.
can't outrule anything, but we have to be careful, like you said, like
Hmm.
assuming. I mean, um, just, I mean, I could think of a mother both ways. it's like being stunned, being drained, you know, like maybe not responding as normal, but then again, you know, I could see the other light too. So unless, you know, until there's solid evidence, I just hope and pray. The most important thing is for him to be recovered safely, and the more time that goes by, the less likely, you know, it just I really hope they make a good break soon. So
Me too. And
yeah.
bring Sebastian home, preferably. You know, maybe a little scared, a little bruised, maybe a little beat up, but you know, hopefully he's found.
Yeah. Yeah. And just because, you know, if they had conflicts and stuff doesn't mean, you know,
that they're bad people.
That they're bad people. I mean, you
we
know,
all
that's a
have
hard
them.
age.
My
Yeah.
family. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
know what it's
So
like to have
I was
fingers
just kind of
pointed.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I've
why we
got
said
some
this is good.
spreads I'm going to look into later. And if I see anything,
Yes.
I'll let you know.
All right. Thanks, Allison. Bye bye, my dear. She's going up to pick up the kiddies. She's a school bus driver, so she's going off to go pick up the
My
kiddies
mom
from
was one.
school.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Cool. That's a
So,
hard job.
all right. Well, thank you, Karen, for joining Jackie and I today. It was nice to have somebody new reading with us. And
Thanks for having me.
yes,
I
and
appreciate it.
people watching the playback, just a reminder, not my chatters here, but to keep comments polite, respectful in the comment section afterwards. Try to be mindful of what gets, you know, what you may feel compelled to type in there. You know, because we don't want to what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, you know, we don't want to over conspiracize.
Right. We don't want to be those
We
people.
don't want to put this, because there are times when
that do
I've
that.
looked
Yeah.
into the chat afterwards, and some of these comments are just like, wow, where did that come from? So maybe, you know, just using kind of filter, you know, for
Jumping
people
to
on playback.
conclusions. Yeah.
We can share possibilities, but just watch how we word them.
Yeah.
Choose words wisely, because words have power. That's why we try to be very respectful during our, you know, our readings, and watching the words, you know, that we say. So on that note, again, everybody have a great rest of your day. And Karen and I
Thank you.
and Jackie will
Yeah.
see everybody on one of our next shows or chats. Bye, everyone.
Bye.